lait, levain et patou. Les parfumeurs français. What does parfumer means? What do you mean by parfumeur?
Perfume.
Yeah, the French perfume companies. Yeah, reputed. Okay, dans le monde entier, in the entire world, dans le monde entier, sont Chanel, Guerlain, Lanvin et Patou. L'industrie automobile en France. The automobile industry in France joue un rôle important, plays an important role. Les petites voitures françaises, the French cars, famous means famous, sont Citroën, Peugeot et Renault. So the famous French cars are Citroën, Peugeot et Renault. La France est connue. France is known pour l'industrie aérospatiale, for aeronautics engineering, okay? Avec les avions de la marque Airbus et la fusée arrière. With the brands, which brand? Airbus, and fusée arrière is the rocket, the French rocket, we say fusée arrière. Les trains français sont les plus rapides du monde, and the French trains are the fastest in the world. Le plus rapide des trains français est le TGV, and the most fastest is the TGV. TGV, it is train à grande vitesse, high-speed trains. Paris est la capitale de la haute couture, and Paris is also the capital of fashion world. Quelques couturiers très connus and some well-known fashion designers, couturiers, fashion designers, well-known, très connus, sont Chanel, Dior, Cartier, et Yves Saint Laurent, that you came across in class 4 and 5 already. Le Tour de France est la plus célèbre des courses cyclistes en France. Is the bicycle race of France, world famous sport. Les pays francophones and the francophone nations or countries sont des pays or countries où le français, where French est utilisé, is utilized comme langue maternelle as mother tongue, mother language, or we say ou langue familière, mother tongue. Quelques pays francophones sont, and some francophone countries are la Suisse, Switzerland, l'Algérie, Algeria, Quebec, Quebec is in Canada, la Belgique, et le Luxembourg, and Luxembourg. Okay, here is a song for La Marseillaise. What say La Marseillaise is l'hymne national de la France. L'hymne national de la France est la Marseillaise. Qui a composé l'hymne national de la France? Claude Joseph Rouget de Lisle a composé la Marseillaise. Okay, here are the meanings given here. La gloire, glory, sanglant, le soldat, la campagne, le citoyen, le silon, vengeur, le défenseur, expirant, l'entendant, musique, égrosé, l'armée, abreuver, soutenir, combattre, accourir, le triomphe. So, dit vrai ou faux, Paris est aussi appelé la ville lumière car il y a beaucoup de lumière. C'est vrai ou faux?
Faux.
Oui. Faux. D'accord. Le buste de Marianne se trouve sur des timbres.
Vrai.
Vrai. Monsieur Gustave Eiffel a construit la tour Eiffel.
Vrai.
Vrai.
L'Union européenne a 15 membres.
Faux.
Pour combien de membres y a-t-il à l'Union européenne? 27. D'accord. Le franc est la monnaie unique européenne.
O.
Oh, quelle est la monnaie unique européenne?
Euro.
Oui. Relier la colonne A avec la colonne B des montagnes
Zura.
le Jura
Les-
et les Vosges. Oui. Des fromages.
Roquefort et le Brie.
Oui. La fierté.
Le coq. Les coq.
Le coq. Oui. L'hexagone.
La France. La France.
Des fleuves.
Le Rhône et le Rhin.
Très bien. Rien. La Manche.
Une mer.
Oui. L'hymne national.
La Marseillaise.
Oui. Salle de Gaulle.
Président.
Oui.
Président.
Président. Les arènes.
Nîmes.
Nîmes. Château.
Nîmes. Chambord.
Chambord. Oui. D'accord. So, number 3. What is which picture? Regardez l'image et répondez quel est ce monument.
C'est Arène de Nîmes.
Oui. Où se trouve-t-il?
À Nîmes. On trouve à Nîmes.
Nîmes. Oui, à Nîmes. So we are going to start lesson A. So before starting lesson A, we are going to revise the grammar from the scratch again. I hope you can all see this. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So les articles indéfinis, indefinite articles. Indefinite articles in French, how many genders are there? We have 2 genders only, masculine and feminine. Masculin, in French we say masculin, and in French, the feminine we say féminin. So we can see that a and you, a, if it is placed before a noun, the noun is masculine, and if we see un before a noun, that means the noun is feminine, right? So they is the plural form of the indefinite articles, they, which means some. Un garçon, a boy. Une fille, a girl. Des garçons, boys. Des filles, girls. Un homme, a man. Des hommes, men. Une femme, a woman. Des femmes, women. Un livre, a book. Des livres, books. For some books. Une gomme, an eraser. Des gommes, erasers. So in different articles we have learned already. So next we are going for definite articles. If you see low is written before a noun, that means the noun is masculine. So low, it indicates the noun is a definite article. Okay, it means the la indicates the noun is feminine. And if you see L apostrophe, that means the noun masculine or feminine, it starts with vowel and silent H. Then we give L apostrophe. So, and lay is the plural form of the definite articles, which means the lo stilo, the pen, le stilo, the pens, la chaise, the chair, les chaises, the chairs, l'homme, the man, les hommes, the men. Leucine, you can see leucine is a feminine word, leucine, but it starts with the vowel, that's why we give L apostrophe, even in l'homme also. Leucine is factory, les usines, the factories. Now, I will understand whether the noun is masculine or feminine if we give L apostrophe. Now, most of the masculine nouns ends with consonants. Remember, most all the nouns, masculine nouns ends with consonant. All the masculine nouns ends with consonant. But there are few exception cases where we can see the masculine noun ends with the letter E. that is not a consonant. So for those words, we need to remember those masculine words. We need to remember those doesn't ends with the consonant but ends in e. Okay, like we have livre means book, right? Live is book. So it doesn't ends. It ends with e, but it's a masculine word. Om, you can see the man. Om, it ends in e, but is a masculine gender. So similarly, we can see the feminine nouns always ends in e. The feminine nouns always ends in e, right? So if you see e at the end of any noun, then that is a feminine gender. But some feminine nouns ends with consonants also. Some feminine noun ends with consonants also, right? Some feminine nouns ends with consonants also. Like, can you give an example of feminine noun ends with consonant?
Maison.
Yes.
Sa maison.
Yes, maison. What it means? Maison means
House.
house. And leçon, lesson. Okay. So it's very simple. Most of the nouns ending in the letter E are feminine and those ends in consonant are masculine, right? So you need to remember those words in masculine which ends with E, okay? And in feminine which ends in consonants. Otherwise, the rest are the same. So these articles now, contract articles, we have learned contract articles. Indefinite articles, definite articles we have seen just now. And articles also we have learned in class 6. These articles are formed by adding the definite articles, right, with two prepositions a and do. So if you add a with the definite articles, it becomes o for masculine, ala for feminine nouns. Al apostrophe if the nouns begin with vowels or silent h, and aux is for the plural form, which means to the. Though if it adds with the definite articles, it becomes due, which will place before masculine nouns. Dola for feminine nouns, before feminine nouns we place it. Do L apostrophe before the masculine feminine noun begins with vowels and silent h, and they is the plural form, which indicates of the, which means of the, to the, of the. So what we'll be placing here? Lo stylo des garçons est sur la table.
The O.
Think and say. Lo stylo des garçons est sur la table.
Sir, do.
No, it will be due. Lo stylo, the pen of the boy is on the table. Okay. La robe de la fille est rouge. The frock of the girl is red. Les cahiers, do L apostrophe will be pressing here. L'étudiant of the student, do L apostrophe because it starts with a vowel. Sont dans le cartable is in the school bag. Les livres, des élèves of the pupils is as is there. So noun is plural form. So it will be des. Sont dans le pupitre is are inside the desk. Okay, so next one, what you will be adding here? Monsieur Jourdain parle des garçons.
Sir, O.
Oh, yes, are you? Madame Jourdain parle des filles.
Allah.
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 Rohan donne une fleur des hommes. Rohan gives a flower to the man. A L apostrophe because it starts with silent H.
Yes.
Le professeur donne des cahiers, gives notebooks to the students. So it will be
The O. AUX.
AUX. Yes, correct. So remember, contrary articles will not be used with proper nouns like name of persons or place, right? In place of these articles, prepositions will be used here. If we say lo estilo du garçon, is okay, fine. But when it's lo estilo das Ravi, it will be do Ravi, isn't it? It will be do Ravi, Ravi's pen. Les fruits des Sneha sont dans la corbeille. What will be writing here? Sneha, Ravi. Do Sneha, yeah. Le magasin, le magasin des Locrons est au bout de la rue. The shop of Do Locrons est au bout de la rue, as at the end of the street. Il habite des Kolkata. He lives, yeah, Le professeur parle des Rohan. To Rohan. Yeah. So remember, in the sentences, if you get these nouns, then you need to place prepositions, not contracted articles. Okay. So we start with the pronouns here. Subject pronouns. Pronouns are used to replace a noun in a sentence, but to avoid repeating the same nouns over and over again. So zo means I, tu means you here, second person singular, il, he, it, third person singular, elle, she, nous, vous, il, elle. So nous, vous, il, elle, these are in the plural form. Zo, tu, il, elle are in the singular form, right? So with the help of the pronouns and the subjects, we'll be going for the verbs now. So in French, verbs are divided into 3 groups, right? So there are 16,000 verbs in French, almost approx. So verbs whose infinitive ends in AR belongs to the first group. Verbs whose infinitive ends in ER, second group. Verbs whose infinitive ends in FA, ER, OER belongs to the third group. Now you can see ER is in the second group as well as in the third group, right? So now we have a list we'll be giving. You know the list is already there in class 6 book. So you can take out your class 6 and you can get the list of the verbs in the second group. The rest will be following the third group. So, and here before starting the verbs, we'll be having here 2 verbs are there, être and avoir. Être means to be in English and avoir means to have. So what are the different forms of the be verb in English? In present. What are different forms of the be verb? Who can say? Who can say the different forms of the verb be in English?
So in present.
Yeah. The verb be is there in English. So we have some forms with the pronouns.
Is, are.
Yes, am, is, and are, right? And avoir, to have.
Have, has.
Yeah, have and have. So now we start with the être. Once again, to be. So we say je suis, tu es, il est, elle est. And now if one name is there, suppose a name of a person, so sing one name, then it's stated as third person singular, right? Sneha est, Tusa est. Nous sommes, we are, nous sommes. Vous êtes, you are. Ils sont, they are. Elles sont, they are. Sneha et Rohit sont. Now, more than one person's names, then we treat it as third person plural form. Sneha et Rohit sont. Next, we have the verb avoir, to have. Ze, tu as, il a, elle a. Sneha a. Tusa a. Nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. And Sneha et Rohit ont, if we are having more than one. Okay. So these are two helping verbs in French which you will be requiring to form the past tenses. Okay, so very important. So next we start with the first group verbs. First group verbs which ends in er. All regular verbs whose infinitive ends in er belong to this group, except one verb, that is aller. Aller does not belong to the first group. It is an irregular group. It falls under the irregular group, right? The present tense of all the er verbs is conjugated by removing the er ending and adding the endings. Let's see next. Here, the verb parler, if you see, it ends in the letter e and r. It ends in the letter e and r, so it belongs to the first group. Now, leaving er, whatever is left behind, so we have parl. So this parl, it becomes the root of the verb. It becomes the root of the verb, and we need to add these endings. You can see the endings, how we are adding with the different type of pronouns. With different type of pronouns, how we are adding with the root of the verb. So you can see in zoke, parle, then a we are adding tu. When is there, parle, the root, and then we are adding as. When il is there, we are writing the root parl, and then we are adding a. With l, we are writing the root parl and adding a. Okay, the same thing for Rita, third person singular. With nu, we are adding with the root ons. In the form vu form, we are adding with the root az. With il, we are adding ant. With l, we are adding ant. So it becomes zo parle, tu parle, il parle, elle parle, Rita parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle, elle parle. So it is easy to distinguish when you get a question like you need to place the correct form of the verb if the verb is given, and if you get the options. Okay, so you can see if on is there, then you need to write this one will fall under with nu. Okay, nu dash, and the verb is given parler. So if you see the options are given, if you're lucky enough to get the options, so then you can choose the right option. That ons, if it's ending with on is the option, then that option will be going with new form. Okay, and if who is written, then ez, you need to look for ez. If ils is there, or name of two persons are there, then you can look for ent, ending with ent. So that decides which form we'll be placing. So we have the next verb habiter, to live. Now here in this one, parler, pay starts with consonant. Pay is a consonant. The next verb habiter starts with silent H, vowel and silent. If the verb starts with vowels and silent H, then only in the first case with zo, it will not be zo, it will be z apostrophe. It will be z apostrophe, because here we are starting with as or vowels, then we place z apostrophe. Zo is shortened z apostrophe when a verb starts with a vowel a, e, o, u or silent h. So in this case, the same way we'll be writing, I'll be adding the endings. Okay, so er, and what we are left with behind, as, a, be, e, te. As, a, be, e, te. So this becomes the root. Then we add a, as, like this way, with different type of pronouns. You can see, right? So it's now we get zabit, tu habite, il habite, elle habite, Rita habite, nous habitons, vous habitez, ils habitent, elles habitent. Okay. So the verb aimer, here you can see it starts with a vowel. That is why z apostrophe is given here in this case. The same way, zam, tu am, il am, elle am, Rita am, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. So the verb aller, I told you that is different. It falls under the irregular category now. aller, to go. This verb is exception from the first group. The suffix ends with er, but it doesn't follow the first group rules, and it falls under the irregular group of verbs. So you can see je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va. Right? Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va. And if one name Peter va, it is Peter. Once someone's name is written, then it is third person singular form, which goes with va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. So remember, if I say I go or I am going, is the same thing, je vais only. Don't write je suis vais. That is incorrect. It will be je vais. If you say I go or I am going in French, we write the same, je vais. So next one. So other first group verbs are mentioned below here. Visiter, to visit. Préférer, to prefer. Étudier, to study. Travailler, to work. Détester, to hate. Chanter, to sing. Marcher, to walk. Préparer, to prepare. Voler, to fly. Regarder, to look at, to watch. So disputer, to quarrel, to argue. Écouter, to listen to. Demander, to ask for. Donner, to give. Jouer, to play. Déjeuner, to lunch. Not déjeuner, it would be déjeuner. Inviter, to invite, to invite. Fermer, to close. Tomber, to fall. Arroser, to water. Okay, so now similar, now some more verbs are there in the first group, which you can see ending in air, but before that we have one more letter z. These verbs are conjugated in the same manner as the other er verbs. The only difference is that in the first person plurals, now you can see here after g, if there is o or a, now according to the rule, we said that we need to add ons, isn't it? Ons will be adding, because here the root of the verb is v o y a z. So till g is the root. Now if g is the root, then we'll be adding ons in the new form. But after g, o is coming. After g, you can see with the other pronouns, o is not coming. Only with nu, o is coming. So that is why we need to introduce a in between g and o. Okay.